Good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your Metal Market Wrap-Up, and this wrap-up is for the evening of Thursday, and we're at the 22nd of February, 2024, 5:40 p.m. Central Time. There's no major U.S. economic data due out tomorrow, so there's nothing for me to show you on the screen. By now, you know that the stock market, a number of the indices went to all-time highs. NVIDIA put on one of the biggest gains ever for any stock. I think it gained just $200 billion in cap. It's crazy what it did. A 16% gain on the stock, beating what Meta had done just 3 weeks ago. So you've got quite an event taking place. I didn't want to see it this way. I would have preferred the market with an 8 to 10% gain. When you get these wild numbers like this, it gets markets up to levels that corrections start setting in funny ways. It gets a bit out of hand very quickly. And so I wasn't in favor of that. I know people are cheering it on. I guess it's not that it's not going up. Some of the people are looking 800, 850. Who knows what the right number is for it? It's a printing machine is what it is, NVIDIA. But what's that have to do with metals? Well, the metals didn't go anywhere. They're just doing this. Wow, isn't that fun to watch? Look at how that is moving. And you didn't go anywhere in the U.S. dollar. It's not going anywhere. Interest rates are staying high at 4.3. So this gives gold a relatively difficult time because the headwinds for it are the strong dollar, the higher interest rates. You went up nicely today in all the energies. They're not making so far any headway between the Hamas and Israel, and you have to get that done in order to get something right here. Now, the Houthis continue to fire their missiles and submarines, and I think today they did 6. They hit a boat. I'm hearing rumors that another boat is now sinking, so that's the second one, and they're going to keep doing this, they said, until Israel pulls out of Palestine, as they call it. Okay. But you're not getting anything through there. The cost of shipping continues up, and of course, putting anything there, if I were an insurance company, I don't want to insure one of those boats. All right. I mean, the odds, anything with any flag seems to be getting hit, and that becomes the problem for that. When we look at the gold market, one of the things I told you that I expected is when you're over an 18-week average and you come back often, I wish I could tell you it's all the time, but it's very often, the market will stall there figuring out what the next move is. When we look at the daily bar chart, today you had an outside day to the downside. Now, I believe that outside days are telltale signs. They're either a continuation pattern or a sign that something is ending. Now, let's first discuss the sign something is ending. We've had a short-term rally that has culminated, maybe, with that outside day down. I use the word maybe because if you take my outside day course on our website, you learn how to work with this. I can tell you if you take out today's highs tomorrow or the day after, it's a signal you probably want to even move higher. So this is going to give the bears an area that they'll look at on the chart. The market did not take out previous highs. It's right at the 18-day average, and that's where I said today in my morning subscriber video, I was telling people, I said, wouldn't surprise me if the bears sell here, put a stop over the recent high, and they look to see if you get back into these lower moving averages. I didn't like the risk reward on the trade, but that doesn't mean you're not studying the pattern. Now, if you take out that high, where could you be going? Then it's the Bollinger Band, possibly 2075. But what would make the market pick up there is what I'm wondering. And it would have to be something terrible going on in the Middle East. We have seen other things going on at home. We still don't have a budget set. March 1st is around the corner. Is the government going to shut down? Mike Johnson today, the Speaker of the House, said no to Biden's other proposals on the border. So it's hardball playing. Do the Republicans really have the guts to shut the government down? Because it'll be on them if it does shut down, since the Democrats have said, no, these are the things that we will do. We'll find out, I guess. But at this point in time, the trend is down. I wouldn't want to see today's high taken out. And I'm looking for support at this point, 2028.60 to 2023.30. And you've worked out of an oversold condition. When we look at the gold-silver ratio, you can see how it corrected, and now the battleground's right up here at that 18-day average of closes. And silver's just sitting. It's going nowhere. It's gone from a lower Bollinger Band to the upper band and the 100-day average and went right back to that line in the sand, and it's sitting. This is the kind of action that huge moves generally come out of. So the market is coiling for something. That is the way to look at it. It can go on for a while. But this is what I call the coil. And think of this as a pipe. And price is the spring within it. And it's winding up. It's hitting other sides of that pipe, trying to break out one way or the other. And it's building that kinetic energy inside of it as it's tightening and tightening and tightening the spring till it can burst out. In the copper market, the market is still looking, I believe, at the idea of what China said. They said they would do moves by March to spur on the economy. Now, they've done a few, and the market is running with that. And literally, ever since they have come back, and I'm saying they being the Chinese traders, the Chinese people from their lunar holiday a week ago Friday, the market has rallied. And I told you not to be short while they were gone. I said, when they come back, they often buy goods, and the market's looking at that. I read an article where they're buying a lot of iron ore. Well, if they're doing that, they're not storing it on the ground. They generally use it in smelting and other things. There's things going on here, and copper could be one of them. So I'm not bearish, let's put it that way. I'm in the friendly camp. I'm neutral as can be in the platinum. It, like silver, has just come to a grinding halt at the 18-day average and developed very much sideways action. Last, in the dollar, you tried the downside. You were unable to quite hit the objectives. The objective would have been the ideal one, 103.06, the 200-day average, and then the Bollinger Band at 103. Could still get there. The trend is down, and the market did let go to the downside. Now, here's the interesting thing. The dollar let go to the downside as interest rates are climbing. We have been the other way recently where the dollar's picked that up. Number two, look at the price of the stock market. Wouldn't you think people are saying the U.S. economy is doing well compared to the others? And yet the dollar slipped back. So I think it caught some traders unaware. Certainly trying to put your head around why did it fall doesn't make an awful lot of sense. That doesn't mean the chart's wrong. The chart's always right. It's just that people have to grab and see where that's going to be. We talk about this every morning. At 5 in the morning, I'm there recording for you and going through the daily charts, coming up with trade ideas. It takes 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and before you know that, I'm posting then the update for you so that you have it. For many of you, just as you're waking up, I go through what the fundamentals of the day look like. Are there any important reports, both domestic and abroad, that we should be looking at? We cover in the morning all these different markets. So the stock indices, the currencies, the interest rates, the metals, the grains, the meats, the softs, and the other. And on our website, as you're visiting this, let me make it clear. As you move your cursor on the bottom, it's going to light up on each one of these and show you just where you're at in it. So you're not wasting any time with it. You can go right to the sections that, I want to be trading cocoa as an example. I like what price of cocoa's doing. Boom, away you go into the soft commodity area. And I cover this. I often cover it with the daily and the weekly charts, but mostly daily from Monday through Friday. And on the weekend, all weekly charts, and then sometimes I'll go back to a daily to make a point and try to come up with a weekly trade for you. So there's generally something very big to do at all different times. How do you get this? It's not difficult, believe me. All you do is you go to our website at iraepstein.com. Under the word research, you can click up here to do that as well. But it's iraepstein.com under the word research. To get hold of us, 866-973-2077. We were here just a minute ago, and all the information, you'll see it come up in just a second here. And by the way, everything that we have, we give you some applications once you sign up. It'll work on your phones and so on. On the phones, you don't get to see where you're completely at the way you do on the website where the indexes can show up. That's where you go. Go to iraepstein.com under the word research. You have a good evening.